In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make these really easy fingerless gloves. And these gloves are so easy to make. They're worked all in one piece. Instead of having a separate cuff and then the hand as a separate piece and then having to sew them together, it's worked as one entire piece and then it's sewed together and you have an opening for the thumb. Super easy, super fast, and really fun to make. If you would like to learn how to make these gloves today, please join me in this tutorial and I will show you how to make them. This set here that I made, this is with the Red Heart Super Savvy yarn, and this was called Mirage. And this is a 4-ply worsted weight yarn. And today we're going to make one with this color. And this one is Red Heart Soft Yarn. And this one here is called Seafoam. It's also 100% acrylic yarn. And it says it's a 4-ply yarn as well. But it's really, really soft. So it's really a nice yarn to use to make gloves. So I already made this one. So we're going to make the second glove because I need two. So I'll show you how to do that today. Alright. So let me go ahead and set these aside now. Okay, so if you look at this fingerless glove, let me go ahead and try it on to show you here. You can see this is done as all one piece. What's really nice is you can see where I did how the cuff looks a little bit different than here, and I'll show you how to do that, but it's all one piece. Instead of making a separate cuff and then the glove, we're going to work one rectangle. And we're just going to change the stitches a little bit. So let me show you how to do that. So we are going to start off with our yarn of choice, and today I need a second glove for my fingerless glove, so I am going to show you how to make this one today in the color of Seafoam, which is a really pretty color. And you can see you can get different looks just by changing the yarn. It looks nice with an ombre or a solid color. So we're going to start off with a slip knot, and I'm going to be using a size J or 10 6mm crochet hook to make the fingerless gloves today. So start off with a slip knot, and then we are going to chain 24 chains. Okay, so we have our 24 chains. And then what we're going to do is we're going to skip the first chain closest to the hook. And we're going to begin our work in the second chain from our hook. And you're going to do a single crochet. And then you're going to just do one single crochet in every single chain until you get to the end of the row. Okay, so I just finished my last stitch of the first row. We started off with 24 chains. And we skipped the first chain and began our work in the second chain from the hook. So we should have 23 single crochets when you're done with this row. Okay, so we're ready to begin row 2. And you're going to go ahead and chain 1. And then turn your work. And what we're going to do is we're going to work in the back loops only. We're not going to work in both loops. Normally, unless your pattern says otherwise, you would insert your hook underneath both loops, but we're not going to do that. We're working only in the back loop. So do not insert the hook here. You're going to actually just find that back loop and insert your hook right underneath that back loop only, and you're going to do a single crochet. So you can see how you still see that front loop there because we left that unworked. So now for the next 6 stitches, we're also going to work one single crochet in the back loops only. So you can see I'm inserting my hook in the back loop only. So if you look at your stitch from the top view, you can see the V stitch. That's the front loop and that's the back loop. So we're going to basically, to find the back loop, you insert your hook right between those two loops. So right behind it. So just the back loop. Now pull up a loop and do your single crochet. And you just work the next 5. So the first 7 stitches here, work one single crochet in the back loops only. Okay, so there are my 7 single crochets where I worked in the back loops only, and this part of the glove is going to be where the cuff is. Okay, so if you look at the glove here, you can see right here where there's these ridges. That's the cuff, and that's because I did the first 7 single crochets working in the back loops only, and that's how you get these little ridges. So let's go ahead and move on to the next type of stitch we're going to do after doing the 7 single crochets in the back loops only. So then we're going to work a half double crochet into the next stitch, and then we're going to keep doing half double crochets in every single stitch until we get to the last 2 stitches. So these last 2 stitches we will do something different. So just keep doing 1 half double crochet into every single stitch until you get to the last 2 stitches. Okay, so I'm almost done. Okay, so I just did my half double crochets. I have 2 stitches left for this row. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do 1 single crochet in these last 2 stitches. Okay, so that completes row 2. Alright, so for the next row, you're going to chain 1. We're going to turn our work, and we're going to do these first 2 stitches where we just did the single crochets in the previous row. You're going to do a single crochet. So these first 2 stitches, 1 single crochet in each stitch. Now we're going to do half double crochets until we get to the last 7 stitches of this round. So just do 1 half double crochet, and then when you get to the last 7 stitches, we are not going to do half double crochets there. So we're back to where we have the last 7 stitches for this round. So this is where we did the single crochets working in the back loop only in the previous round. So we're going to do that here as well. So these last 7 stitches, do 1 single crochet in the back loops only. Okay, so that completes round 3. Okay, and then round 4 is going to be a repeat of what we did in round 2. So you can chain 1, and you can see where we did the first 7 stitches working in the back loops only. We're going to do that again. So we're going to do a single crochet working in the back loops only for these first 7 stitches. Just 1 single crochet. And then we're going to work 1 half double crochet until we get to these last 2 stitches where we will do 1 single crochet in the last 2 stitches of round 4. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and work our half double crochets. Okay, so we're here to the last 2 stitches, and you're going to do 1 single crochet in each of those stitches. So that completes round 4. Okay, for round 5, go ahead and chain 1, turn your work. The first 2 stitches will have 1 single crochet each, and then work your half double crochets until you get to the last 7 stitches for this round 5. Okay, so a half double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, pull up a loop. You have your 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3. And that's how you do the half double crochet. And we're just going to do that all the way to the end until we have 7 stitches left. So we'll stop when we have 7 stitches left. So just keep doing those half double crochets. Okay, so we have worked our half double crochets until we had 7 stitches left for this round 5. So in these last 7 stitches, we're going to do 1 single crochet working in the back loops only. And by working in the back loops only, you can see it's these ridges. which is what we exactly want to have that cuff. Alright, moving on to round 6. Chain 1. And then you can see the first 7 stitches. Do 1 single crochet, working in the back loops only. Okay, so we've just completed 7 single crochets, working in only the back loops. So now we're going to do 1 half double crochet in each of the stitches until we have our last 2 stitches left for round 6. And in those last 2 stitches, we're going to do 1 single crochet. Okay, so we have 2 stitches left, 1 single crochet each, and that completes row 6. Alright, so for row 7, chain 1, turn to work. These first 2 stitches will have just the 1 single crochet each, and then we're going to work 1 half double crochet in every single stitch until we get to the last 7 stitches. So now the last 7 stitches of this row 7 will have 1 single crochet each, working in just the back loops. Okay, so that completes row 7. So you can see this is a really easy pattern. We're just going to need 20 rows to complete our fingerless glove. And it's really nice because this is all worked in one piece, the cuff and the glove. You don't have to make the cuff separate and then sew it on. It's just a really simple pattern, really quick and easy. Now, just to give you some ideas, like if you need to have this fit a larger hand or a smaller hand, the way you can adjust the size for you is instead of 20 rows, you may need more. Like if I put this on, you can see it's just perfect for me. This is a perfect glove for like a teen to a small size hand. If you need a medium size or a larger hand, just do more rows so it becomes wider. And you just follow the same pattern. You know, the first 2 will have the single crochets, then you do the half double crochets. And these 7 stitches here where we're working the cuff, we'll have 1 single crochet working in the back loops only. Now, if you want it to be for a smaller hand, then of course you can do less rows. Instead of 20, you might need, you know, maybe 16 or 15. You just basically work it until it's wide enough to fit your hand comfortably. And then if you want the cuff to be longer, you can add some stitches. And just, you know, add a couple of more chains. When we first started, we had 24 chains. And then we skipped the first chain always, you know, working in the second, so we had 23. But if you want the cuff to have 9 stitches instead of the 7, then go ahead and add a couple of stitches. So, you know, it is adjustable to how you like it if you want a longer cuff. So, that's just some ideas of how you can adjust this to fit the way you like. For a smaller hand or a larger hand, or if you want a longer cuff. So, just wanted to point that out to you. Alright, so we're going to move on to round 8. You're going to chain 1, and you can see where we did our first 7 stitches working in the back loops only. Do the same thing, repeat that. Okay, 1 single crochet in the first 7 stitches working in the back loops only. Okay, and then you can probably guess the next few stitches here. You're going to do 1 half double crochet each, and then the last 2, 1 single crochet each. Okay, so I just finished my half double crochets, and there was 14 half double crochets. So these first 7 stitches, 1 single crochet in the back loops only, and then do a half double crochet in these next 14 stitches. And then the last 2 stitches will have 1 single crochet each. Okay, and that completes row 8. So now we're going to move on to row 9. And you can probably see the pattern now. So you want to always chain 1, turn your work. In these first 2 stitches, we're going to do 1 single crochet. So basically it's just repeating it over and over again until we get to as many rows as we want. And in this case, in this tutorial, this glove is going to have 20 rows, but of course if you want to adjust it to fit, you may have less or more. So you just keep repeating this until it's as long as you need it to be to fit around your the width of your hand. Okay, so these first 2 stitches were 1 single crochet each. The next 14 stitches will have 1 half double crochet each. These last 7 stitches is where we work 1 single crochet, working in the back loops only. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and move on to row 10. Okay, so you can see the pattern here. We're basically just repeating row 2 and 3 all the way until we get to row 20. The foundation row was our 24 chain stitches. And then for row 1, we did 1 single crochet in every single stitch, skipping the first chain, so we should have 23 single crochets. And then row 2 and 3, we just keep repeating those. So it's very easy. So now for 10, I'm going to chain 1. And you can see where we did the 7 single crochets working in the back loops only. You do the same thing here. So 1 single crochet working in just the back loops. Okay, so I just finished my 7 single crochets working in the back loops only. So in the next 14 stitches, I'm going to do 1 half double crochet each. Okay, these last 2 stitches, 1 single crochet each. That completes row 10. So now I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and do 1 single crochet in the first 2 stitches. Next 14 stitches, 1 half double crochet each. Okay, so the last 7 stitches will have 1 single crochet working in just the back loops only. Okay, so I'm ready to begin row 12. So chain 1. Always chain 1 before you begin each row, and then turn your work. And then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first 7 stitches, working in just the back loops, just like we did in the other rows. Alright, next, the next 14 stitches, work 1 half double crochet in every single stitch. And we're going to do that until we get to the last 2 stitches of this row. Okay, we have 2 stitches left, and just like we did in the other row, 1 single crochet in each of those stitches. And that completes row 12. So you can see what's going on here. So if you look at your work right now, you can kind of see where this defines the cuff. These first 7 single crochets that we work in the back loops, which creates these nice little ridges for the cuff. And then you did the half double crochets, and that makes the glove wider, which is what we want, because the where your hand is, the cuff is going to be narrower, and then where your hand is, it needs to be wider. And the reason why we're doing the single crochets here is because then this is the widest part of your hand, and then it needs to become a little bit narrow, or else it'd be kind of loose up here, and you don't want that. So that's why it's working that way, because we need it to be more narrow here. We need to increase the width where our hand is, and that's why we're doing the half double crochets. And then just to bring that width in a little bit, where our fingers will be, the 2 single crochets decrease that width a little bit. So that's why we're doing that. Alright, so now for row 13, chain 1, turn our work, and here's those first 2 stitches where we did the single crochets. We're going to do that again. And then the next 14 stitches, 1 half double crochet each. So everywhere we've done a half double crochet in the previous rows, we repeat that. A half double crochet in each stitch. Alright, we're down here to the last 7 stitches. In these last 7 stitches, 1 single crochet in each stitch, working in just the back loops. Okay, so for row 14, start with a chain 1, turn our work. In the first 7 stitches, we're going to do 1 single crochet, working in the back loops only. Okay, the next 14 stitches, 1 half double crochet each. Okay, so I'm almost done with the half double crochets. So I've just completed 14 half double crochets in these last 2 stitches for this round. I'm going to do 1 single crochet each. And that completes row 14. So now we're ready for row 15. So you chain 1, turn your work. In the first 2 stitches, you're going to do 1 single crochet each. And then the next 14 stitches, we'll do 1 half double crochet in each stitch. Okay, so I just did 14 half double crochets. I have 7 stitches left to work in this row. I'm going to do 1 single crochet in these last 7 stitches, working in only the back loops, because I want to have those ridges for my cuff of my glove, where the wrist is. Okay, so we're done with row 15, so we're ready to begin row 16. So we want to go ahead and chain 1, turn our work. These first 7 stitches will have 1 single crochet, working in just the back loops. 5, 6, 7. Okay, so these 7 stitches had 1 single crochet, working in just the back loops. The next 14 stitches will have 1 half double crochet each. Okay, in the last 2 stitches for this round 16, you will do 1 single crochet in those last 2 stitches. So for round 17, let's go ahead and start chain 1, turn your work. The first 2 stitches here will have 1 single crochet each. Next 14 stitches, 1 half double crochet each. Okay, so I just did 14 half double crochets, 1 half double crochet in the last 14 stitches. The next 7 stitches is where our cuff is, so we want to do 1 single crochet in each of these 7 stitches, working in just the back loops. That was row 17. So now we're ready to begin row 18. So start with a chain 1, turn your work, and then the first 7 stitches will have 1 single crochet, working in just the back loops only. 7. Okay, and then the next 14 stitches, 1 half double crochet each. Okay, so I just finished doing the half double crochets in the last 14 stitches, and these last 2 stitches of this row 18 will have 1 single crochet each. Okay, so now for row 19, let's go ahead and start chain 1, turn your work. The first 2 stitches will have 1 single crochet each, and then the next 14 stitches, 1 half double crochet each. Okay, so I just finished doing my half double crochets in the last 14 stitches. So now for the last 7 stitches of this row, you will do 1 single crochet in each stitch, working in just the back loops only, since this is the part where the cuff is. Okay, so that completes row 19. We have one more row to work, so we're going to start off chain 1, turn our work, and in the first 7 stitches you'll do 1 single crochet, working in just the back loops only, because this is where the cuff is. And this is row 20, and this is the last row. Unless you are, adjusting the size to make it wider or not as wide by doing, more or less rows. But if you're following exactly as we are in this tutorial, then this will be your last row. Okay, so there's my 7 single crochets in the back loops only, and then the next 14 stitches will have 1 half double crochet each. Okay, so I'm just finishing doing my half double crochets in the last 14 stitches, and then these last 2 stitches for this round will have 1 single crochet each. And that completes row 20. We're now finished crocheting our fingerless glove. Now all we need to do is sew it and put it together. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the yarn here. And when you cut the yarn, you want to leave a good sized tail so we can sew the glove together. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that yarn through, pull it all the way through, and give it a tug to fasten off. So now we're ready to go ahead and sew this together. So you want to fold it over, just like that. So how easy is that? You just work this as one piece, sew it together, leave an opening for your thumb, and you are done. So rather than work the cuff and this part in 2 pieces, this is really super easy. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and thread up my darning needle here. Alright, so what you want to do is when you hold them together, you're going to sew the stitches together right there. Just sew them together, 2 sides. Do that for the first 7 stitches. So see where these V stitches are, you can use that as your guide. So that was the first one. 2, third one, 4, 5th stitch down, 6, and here's the 7th one. Okay, so now you're going to skip 6 stitches to leave an opening for your thumb. So what I do, rather than cut this yarn, now here you want to go ahead and stitch, rather than cut the yarn here, it's going to be easier just to see where the stitch here, this is the next stitch, just feed your yarn through that stitch right underneath it. And don't sew the 2 spaces together, just kind of weave it down, in other words. 2, 3, so we're just weaving it down the one side, not both, so that way they're not sewed together. 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I just wove it down the one side so I can continue sewing, so that way I can continue sewing and leaving the opening for the thumb. So now you just want to place that together. This is the next stitch, the 7th one. This is the 7th stitch because we skipped these 6 stitches here. And then we're going to start sewing this back together. So you want to make sure you have 6 stitches skipped here. Perfect. So now just go ahead and start sewing again. Sewing both pieces together this time after the thumb hole. Basically placing it right underneath those V stitches. Okay, and then what I usually do, I have this little tail here that was from the beginning when we started the chain foundation row. So I'm going to just go ahead and tie that just once or twice because we're going to turn this inside out. So this is going to be on the inside, so you won't see this seam at all. And then if I have any left over, I like to go back over it. Just kind of weave it down. So weave it down until you get back to the thumb opening. Because you can see, like, if you stretch it, because when we were sewing it, it's a little bit loose here, so we want to go over it again to make sure we have that on snug where the thumb opening begins. So then I like to put another stitch right into that same one, just before the thumb opening. And then just tie that, just like I just did. Let me show you that again, because it doesn't hurt to have a second one. So I'm going to go ahead and go through it. And then, you see how I have a little loop? I'm going to insert my needle through there and just do that so it kind of gives it a little knot. And then remember, we wove down this side, so now I'm not going to sew it together. I'm just going to weave down this side until I get back to where I want to go over those stitches again. So I don't want to sew this thumb opening closed. I just want to kind of weave it down so I can get this tail over to where I need to stitch again. I always like to give it a double stitch. Make sure it doesn't come undone. Alright, so now we're back to where we began that opening for the thumb. Go back through there and see, I'm going to go through that little loop just to give it a little bit of a knot there. There you go. And then just kind of weave it back down. So basically you have a double stitching, so it's nice and strong. That seam, and that way it won't come unraveled or undone. Okay. Okay, so when you have come back down to this other end here, you can just kind of weave that tail down until, you know, you're satisfied that it's woven in there. So just weave in that loose tail and then go ahead and cut that tail once you have it woven in nice and secure. Then the same thing with this little tail that's on the other end where the cuff is. Okay, so I'm just going to weave in this tail as well. Okay, I'm going to cut my yarn. And then you just turn it inside out and we are done. Really simple, very quick pair of fingerless gloves. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial of how to make these really easy fingerless gloves today. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and like the video. And I hope that you will subscribe to my channel. That way you won't miss any of my future tutorials that I plan to share with you on my channel. I thank you for watching today and have a great day.